My lamp is lit so that I can light other lamps. It is not just for me to see. That lamp is not just for me to be guided, but to help others. And that is why when we look at health from this type of standpoint, it is not just the symptom relief. It's a sense of wholesomeness, an integration of the body, mind, spirit. And that is why yoga chikitsa is not just setting things right, but is helping the person on the path towards divinity. The highest goal of yoga chikitsa is also kaivalya. Now, your patient in the hospital may not think so, but that is the highest goal of yoga chikitsa. And that is why when we talk of salutogenesis, we have this modern framework, comprehensibility. We understand what's happening around us, manageability. We learn to develop tools that can help us manage our lives and ourselves, and meaningfulness. The first two, comprehensibility and manageability, which are the two of the three core elements of the sense of coherence, the heart of salutogenesis, according to Antonovsky. Both of these are very necessary for all living beings. Animals also should be able to comprehend what's happening around them, and they should be able to manage what's happening in their life. And a dog also needs to know. Bukash wants to know what's happening in the ashram and how to manage it, okay? He needs. Does Bukash really need meaningfulness? I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. Now, again, maybe I'm biased. I think that meaningfulness part is what makes us human. Because comprehension and manageability are still very much part of survival mode. Meaningfulness is growth mode. Abraham Maslow talks about deficit needs and growth needs. Comprehension and manageability are very much part of managing the deficit needs, physiological needs, safety needs, belonging needs, all of that. But when you come into self-actualization and transcendence at the peak of Maslow's pyramid, I believe that's where really our humanity shines forth. That meaningfulness is very vital because that search for meaningfulness is what drives us to become a better version of ourselves. If we were only worried about comprehension and manageability, we would never become a better version of ourselves. We would be a businessman. Now, nothing wrong with being a businessman, but you are limited to balancing your accounts. Credit, debit, balance. Comprehension, manageability. Comprehension, what is the problem? Manageability, how to solve it, balance. That's all. But meaningfulness is what drives you into self-reflection. Meaningfulness is what drives you into aspiration for something higher. Satkara of abhyasa. And I think this is why the fact this meaningfulness is part of sense of coherence is very, very important. To find meaning in every moment of life. Why is this happening? I know the lives of thousands of people. And this is a question we often ask ourselves. Why is this happening to me? At least you were in the university, you were starting your scooter, you lost control and fell down. Yes, you hurt yourself, no doubt about it. But you didn't have an accident on the highway. There's a big difference between falling down in front of your university in a safe space. You got injured, yes, as compared to falling down in the middle of the highway, which is an unsafe space. And through this, you have had the most important experience of driving. And what is that experience? To have an accident. I believe that anybody who starts driving should have a small accident as early as possible. Because if you have an accident, you know that something can go wrong. And you will automatically be careful while you are driving. I see the young people on their bikes on our highway. They drive at breakneck speed, pulling this way, that way. They have not yet had an accident, so they don't think they can have an accident. Their, their, their mind has not comprehended yet the possibility that you can have an accident and kill yourself. Now, I don't want people to kill themselves to know that they can kill themselves. But if you can have a milder accident, Amma used to say, Amma, she is beyond anything. Last night she was so happy to watch the performance of Vidya, who danced so nicely. And before the each item, Divya was reading out the notes of the item, and Amma was looking at her with such pride. There was this beautiful pride as she looked at her granddaughter. I just, There's and I was just looking at Amma, and we were just looking at that radiance that was there. Ammaji made a beautiful statement. She said, in the ashram, when people are here, they get the karma in homeopathic dosage. That is what she used to say. People have to get the karma. Okay. But in the ashram, they get it in homeopathic dosage. They get it in mild dilution dosage. So they work out the karma. You have to work out your karma. Okay. You cannot escape karma. But if you can get it in homeopathic dosage, you have least damage, but your karma has been worked out. This is a very important part of finding meaningfulness in what happens to us in life. Because the moment you can find meaningfulness in adversity, be it a health challenge, be it a relationship challenge, be it a financial challenge, whatever it may be, when you can find meaningfulness in adversity, you will grow as a human being. And nowadays, even psychology has a beautiful concept about this. They call it post-traumatic growth. Google it and read up on it. It's a very beautiful concept. We always used to talk only a post-traumatic stress disorder. All the damage that is done to you by a trauma. Post-traumatic stress disorder is the damage done to you that resides in you. Post-traumatic growth. That adversity, by finding meaningfulness in it, makes you a better version of yourself because you become a wiser human being. One of the key elements of post-traumatic growth is gaining wisdom. And that is why, in Indian culture, we give great respect to people who are older than us because they had more experience. They have fallen down more than us. They have hurt themselves more than us. And hopefully have learned something out of it. So please respect them and seek their wisdom. It's not about academic degrees. It is not about information on the net. It is about the experiential wisdom that comes from going through adversity and finding meaningfulness. And through that meaningfulness, growing in your personhood, whole personhood. I think we are missing this in modern yoga a lot. There are few people who talk about it, but I wish more people would talk about this. This is what yoga is about. We're becoming more and more this yoga for this, yoga for that. How does it make you a better version of yourself? That is so important.